Alright, so this is a brief introduction on how to use live recording from the session view into the arrangement view. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you load up your keyboard first to make sure it's on. And then once the keyboard is on, then you want to load up live. Because then you can go into the options in live, go to the preferences, and make sure that your MIDI sync, your control surface, and your input and output is set to the Oxygen 25. And then the control surface is just the Oxygen 3rd generation, or yeah, typically that's what you do. Make sure your input is set for track and remote on so that we can use the keyboard for both basically remote controlling the track parameters and actually recording into the track. So once you have that, and of course making sure that the audio settings are set for Audio for all, which it should be. Once you've done that, you want to make sure that the keyboard, which has this little auto button here, is pressed on, and the green light will come on, and that means every button and stuff will work with live and it will be auto mapped. So for instance, the stop button will stop live, the play button will play. As you can see, it's actually playing, and the record button actually works for record, and so on, the loop buttons and all these ones over here. The only ones that aren't auto mapped are these pads here because the program allows you to set them up how you want. So what I would probably do is click the MIDI button up here, and it brings you into the MIDI map mode, and you can set these buttons for whatever you want. So first of all, click on a parameter you want to change, for instance this one, under audio, and then click the pad that you would want for that one. I'm going to click that one. Notice it changes, it has a little parameter 10/D2 up here, so we know that that button has been mapped. Next we'll go over to the next one. I'll click for the next pad, the next one, I'll click for this pad here. Notice you only have 8 pads, so I mean you'll have to be kind of a little bit creative as to what you want to use. Maybe we'll do something like that, and maybe we will go with the ones over here for playing the whole track. Actually, we have enough pads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so I could set up these last two as this one and that one. And once you're done, click the MIDI button again, and notice when I click the pad, it'll start to play that clip, right? I can play the next clip, as you can hear. I can play the next clip, so they're all playing. What I typically like to do is I typically like to have these mapped to the pads as well, but it doesn't really matter. You can map them however you want them. You'll have to do that each time unless you save it as a default, but because you're working with different tracks, it might be a nice idea just to maybe do that each time. You might want them set up differently for each different track. Now, when you're ready to record and you have an arrangement down, typically what I like to do is I like to kind of jam it out, maybe play through to see what my arrangement is. For instance, I might not have that one play, I might just start with this, just kind of have it playing through, add in some drums, check to see what the next line sounds like, a little breakdown, bring back in the drums. But once you know what you want, remember that you have this button over here, stop all clips, you want to start to record. So what I usually do is I would start recording and I would play my track and the arrangement that I want. And then you click through, right? It's going to record everything that you're doing in here, any automation that you want to do too, any panning changes that you want to do. And when you're done, what you can do is you can go over to the arrangement and you can notice that, hey, it all recorded. And then what you want to do is you want to click this button here when you're for sure done, and it will click on this. And then what you can do is you can actually play through this, which is in your arrangement view, right? And essentially this is what you want to save. So when you're ready for this, you go File, you go Save Live Set As, and then when it sends to me, it'll have this arrangement recorded with all your automation and everything, and then that's what you upload. You upload that file to me. So it's a matter of making sure that your keyboard is synced. You can use the pads to queue up clips if you want, or just the mouse. It's up to you. And just remember how to change your MIDI mapping, as well as the play and stop buttons. And just remember to kind of jam through first before you record into the arrangement view. Let me know if you have any questions.